300 days after the, or within 300 days of the termination of the marriage, the divorce, we'll do a paternity test. It will show Ken is the father. It will show that Ryan is not the father. Ryan will sign a piece of paper accepting that he is not the father and acknowledging he's not the father. Ken will sign the same piece of paper saying he acknowledges he is the father. And then after that, then there's no more to be discussed. It's over. Paternity is established.
Hi friends, this is Katie. Hi friends, this is Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is July 24th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. All right, if you have followed my channel, you know that for years I have covered the story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, well before she got out and was released and before she became this huge internet sensation, has 10 million followers, and before she got a reality show, all of it. Gypsy has had quite a controversial time on social media, and a lot of the reason why I have had to step away from her and the family has a lot to do with how they're behaving online, how they're treating people, how she's treating people, and just a lot of the deception that she's putting out publicly about her life, about her current situation, about her pregnancy, about her divorce, about her marriage, about all of it. And if you watch the series, you kind of see that it's very clear that Gypsy and Ryan were not compatible, and Gypsy for sure still had lingering feelings for her ex Ken that she never resolved. She basically marries Ryan on a rebound, and even in this last episode, Christy claims, her stepmother, that Gypsy ends up marrying him so that she can parole to his house because she couldn't go to a house of a boyfriend. She had to go to a family, and because of her condition, she couldn't live on her own. And Gypsy married him so that she would have a place to go and wouldn't have to, quote unquote, burden her family. Regardless, the way that it was framed by Christy, it was almost like she was using Ryan for housing. And I don't know what the story is, but that's what was said on the show. So Gypsy has, in the short span of 7 months, been released, been married. She's now going through a divorce. She's pregnant, and there's questions about the paternity of the baby. And there's just a lot of questions about what this is going to do to the divorce, if the pregnancy even happened with Ken or with Ryan, and what the backstory is about the marriage, the divorce. And I just want to share with you just some information that I know from my direct conversations with the family. And just to be clear, like, I'm not at a point anymore where I'm communicating with them because there have been so many lies told to me, so much deception that I have gone through and been manipulated by not just Gypsy, but the family. And I just can't now defend the indefensible. Like, I can have compassion for what someone has gone through as a child. I can have compassion for what she experienced by her mother. I can have compassion that she had a very rough childhood. But at the same time, when I'm doing my best to tell and report on a situation, and I'm feeling or starting to feel manipulated by the people that I'm getting the information from, I don't want to ever appear biased, and I can't because my job requires that I remain objective. And so in this case, I have chosen to step away from the family because I can't trust a lot of what they say, but I can trust that things that they told me about Gypsy and about the pregnancy versus what's being said online are completely incompatible. So let's just start from the beginning. The series has ended. There were 8 episodes. It was the end of season 2. It's unknown if a season 3 is going to happen. Gypsy ends the series. She's pregnant. She has just left Ryan. Ryan says on the series that he was told by Gypsy only a month before that she was pregnant, and that because a month before she was pregnant, he didn't know if he was the father or if Ken was the father. Gypsy asserts online that she and Ken conceived while he was in town for Jazz Fest, which was the end of April into early May of 2024, and that he was in town for a weekend. And on the series, you see Ken come into town. You see that Rod confronts Ken and says, Gypsy wants to get pregnant. Do not get her pregnant. You also saw on the series that Gypsy's family urged her, or her sister urged her, to take Plan B after she had unprotected sex with Ryan. You saw a fight that Ryan and Gypsy had about her taking Plan B and the discussions of their intimate life together with her sister on camera. And Ryan says at the end of the episode that Gypsy and he had actually been trying to have children and get pregnant for months, and up until the point that she was leaving him. When Gypsy announced her pregnancy, she went onto her YouTube channel and she said that she made it seem like she was going through fertility treatments. She had been on the pill. She wasn't ovulating. She was taken off the pill. Her stories about what she went through have changed. I want to just show you a clip of what she said 2 days ago to just give you a sense of what she's saying today about how she became pregnant.
When I got pregnant, I didn't even think that I could get pregnant because I had seen my OBGYN for the first time. I asked about my fertility. She gave me a blood test. We did labs to see if I was ovulating on a regular basis. And so when I got the results back, she's like, chances are you're not ovulating on a regular. So whenever Ken came to visit me, I'm like, chances are that's unlikely to happen. I've got too much going on right now. I'm gonna have to be on a medication to make me ovulate because I'm not already ovulating on a regular, so I wouldn't worry about it. So we didn't use protection.
So it went from she had been on birth control to she missed taking birth control a couple days to I told Ken that I couldn't get pregnant because I wasn't ovulating, so we didn't use protection. And when Gypsy told me, she told me in May that she was pregnant. She told me the day after she found out she was pregnant. I asked her how it was possible that she became pregnant. Gypsy told me over the phone that she had missed some days of her birth control. She told me that it was the heat of passion. So when you are with someone, sometimes you just don't think about using birth control, that she didn't think she could get pregnant, and it just happened. It was unexpected, okay? That's what she told me. So online, she gives that similar story. She's also talking about the OB stuff. I can't say anything about the doctors because, frankly, I wasn't at these doctor's appointments. I can just go off of what I was told. But then I started to notice that her stories about this kind of kept changing. And what I can say about Gypsy is that because of the way that she grew up with her mom, she can lie very, very, very easily. And she can lie so convincingly that you think that she's telling you the truth. But what you don't realize is that she can't keep her story straight. So it'll constantly change because it's a lie. And I don't know if it's done maliciously, but it is done because she wants to please people. She wants to say the right things. And she doesn't want to look messy, right? This is a very messy situation, very messy. So my sort of opinions about things changed pretty dramatically when I realized she not only lied to me about the circumstances, but there had been long-standing issues going on around this for months. And I came into knowledge of this last week. I knew while the show was filming that Gypsy had tried to get pregnant multiple times. I knew that there was a fight about Gypsy taking Plan B. I did not know that the fight was that Mia had her take the Plan B on the show. I was actually told, and I don't even know if this is true, that someone else in the family told her to take the Plan B, and maybe she's taken it multiple times. I have no idea. But that he wasn't mad that she was talking about the sex life on the show, but that he was upset that she took the Plan B because they were trying to get pregnant. It wasn't accidental. And that she had killed his sperm. I was told that he was mad because he felt like she was terminating a pregnancy that could happen. again, I don't know if that's true. That's what they told me, that the fight was about that. It wasn't the way it was on the show. I was also told that they edited out a lot of the fights because they wanted to protect Ryan because he's a teacher. I don't know if that's true either. That's just what I was told. And I'm starting to realize I don't know what's true and what's false anymore. So they're saying that the fight was really about Ryan says that you killed my sperm, but on the show it's like you talked about our sex life to my sister. Plan B was a big issue. I heard about it while the filming was going on. The family during this time was very worried that Gypsy was going to get pregnant. They were very worried because she's been obsessed with getting pregnant for years. She was obsessed with Nick. She wanted to get pregnant with Nick. Nick's mom had to step in to try to prevent that from happening. And the plan B was given an option because when the family had found out that she was having unprotected sex with Ryan, they were like, she is not ready for this. She can barely take care of herself. We can't do this. Like, bringing a baby into this situation would be not healthy. So when she split with Ryan, they were kind of like at a point where they didn't think that pregnancy was going to be an issue, but she was still kind of obsessed with it. And I will tell you that I was told by someone, again, within the family, that Lifetime was pushing for a baby. So, like, producers apparently had said to Gypsy, wouldn't it be great if you got pregnant at the end of the season and we could have like a cliffhanger, you know what I mean? Like a to be continued. So it was like Lifetime was like putting in her ear like it would be great for her to have a baby. And then she kind of ran with that. Like, she was like trying to get pregnant. And she never hid her desire to want to have a baby. Like, she's been wanting to have a baby. She's 32 years old. Despite what she went through as a child and everything that led up to it, you can't turn off your biological clock. You only have a short window of time that you can have a baby as a woman before it becomes high risk, and she wanted a baby. Now, when she split with Ryan, it was my belief that she wasn't pregnant. And again, I don't know what the paternity is, so I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not Ryan's or that it is Ken's, because at this point, I don't know. I don't know what I can trust anymore. They insist that the baby is Ken's and that the baby was conceived during Jazz Fest. That's what they insist. Ryan says they were trying to get pregnant up until the point she left. He doesn't know who the father is. That's where things stand right now. In order to get this all sorted out, Gypsy has to go through court, through her divorce, to have DNA testing to prove paternity. By the time Ken came for Jazz Fest, there was already apparently pretty significant concern that Gypsy was going to try to get pregnant when he was there. She was very motivated to get pregnant. And the way that this was explained to me by the family. So I told you that Gypsy says she's told she can't get pregnant or she's not ovulating and she is taking off pills, or she might have not taken pills, or whatever her story is. She's told Ken, her new story is that she told Ken she probably couldn't get pregnant, so it wouldn't be a problem, so they didn't use protection. That's the new story. Last week, what I was told happened was when Ken arrived, there was deep concern that she was going to try to get pregnant that weekend, and there was a situation where, according to them, Rod told Ken that Gypsy wanted to get pregnant, which you see part of it in this show. But what apparently wasn't shown was that he apparently begged Ken to use condoms and to get a lot of condoms if he needed to get them, and to just do everything in his power not to get Gypsy pregnant, because that was what Gypsy was going to do. She was going to try to get pregnant. And they were very aware that this was going to happen. And so Rod was hoping that Ken would listen to him, like, please don't get her pregnant, okay? And then Gypsy's now saying, I told Ken I couldn't get pregnant. So it's almost like a manipulation tactic here, okay? So they are pregnant now, right? So she's pregnant now. What I was told was that when she moved from Lake Charles to Cutoff, she had been on the pill. And that when she moved, she had changed doctors because the two places are a couple hours apart. And by the time she got to from Lake Charles to Cutoff, she took her last pill and then she ran out of pills and then she didn't refill them. So she didn't get a new prescription for her birth control. Gypsy had gone on the pill after all the Plan B stuff happened because the family was so petrified that if she didn't take the pill and get on the pill, she was going to become pregnant, that she might potentially end up trapped with a marriage where she's not happy and doesn't want to be with him with a baby. But on top of that, she's not capable of taking care of a child herself. She's very erratic. She's very impulsive. It's honestly like trying to navigate and manage a 12-year-old sometimes with the way that she behaves. She doesn't think at all about consequences. She manipulates, lies, and does whatever she wants. And she changes her mind so often, as you saw, like with the dog, like she wanted the dog and then she abandoned the dog and left the dog with Ryan. There was just fear, like, you're not ready for a child. You don't even know how to take care of yourself. How are you going to have a child? So going on the pill was a way to like keep it at bay so she couldn't get pregnant, right? In a lot of ways, it almost felt like they're trying to work with a girl that's 32 but is 12, and they can't manage it. Nobody can manage it. And then all of them want money and are chasing money. So it's a complete mess. It's a complete mess is what I'm saying. And throughout all of that, even with the family trying to get her on the pill and getting her to take Plan B and trying to get her to not get pregnant, she still finds a way to manipulate Ken by convincing him that she's not ovulating. The truth is, the testing she would have done, there's no way the doctor could have told her she wasn't ovulating because she had just gotten off the pill. So according to the family in Lake Charles, to cut off while she was with Ryan at the very end, they say she's on the pill, although Ryan's saying we were still trying to get pregnant. So who knows what she was telling Ryan, what manipulation she was using with Ryan. When she gets to cut off, she runs out of the pill, according to the family. Who knows if that's true? And then never transfers the prescription. So she has to get set up with new doctors. She has to get it set up with new pharmacies, doesn't take the time to do it, and then goes off the pill on her own. Not because the doctor said so, but because she didn't have a new doctor to prescribe the next round of pills. That's the story I was told. So by this point, she's not on the pill. She has her surgery for her nose. She takes the pregnancy test before because they can't do the surgery if she's pregnant. And she isn't pregnant. And then Ken comes for Jazz Fest. And as far as I understand, at that point, she's also still not on the pill. And then at this point, the family is again petrified that she's going to get pregnant that weekend and find a way to get pregnant. And that's where Rod has to come in and like beg Ken not to get her pregnant and to use protection, to use condoms, and to do whatever he could to not get her pregnant. Like, if I cannot express to you enough how petrified this family was about her getting pregnant and how ill-equipped they think she is to be a mother, that would be an understatement, okay? So Gypsy doesn't have a good role model for how to be a mother, and she hasn't done enough therapy at this point to really work through her trauma. And she doesn't have any of the life skills necessary to take care of a baby. And she's very impulsive and changes her opinions constantly. And what she finds to be amazing one day and hateful the next. And because of her trauma, she cuts people off very quickly. And she also like bounces from person to person. And she's always looking for like a fairy tale. Naturally, when everyone finds out that she is pregnant, it's like people are shocked but not surprised because she's been on this path for months. This has been like a ticking time bomb that they've been trying to deactivate the bomb and get her to not want to be pregnant for 6 months before this happens. And they can't stop her from getting to her goal. And she's willing to do anything at all to get pregnant. She wants a baby. She wants to be a mother. She wants a family. Like I said, you cannot turn off someone's biological clock, but it's the fact that she's willing to manipulate people to get and achieve this goal, which is like so concerning. And then you add into the fact that she's not ready to be pregnant and she doesn't have the life skills to take care of a child. That has left so many people on her inner circle. Like, they're excited, obviously, and they're publicly showing her support, but privately, we're very worried about the baby, very worried about the long term, very worried about if she'll be able to take care of the child. I mean, there are still ongoing concerns that she could violate her parole at any time because she's on parole until next June. And if she were to violate parole while she's pregnant, she could give birth while finishing up her prison sentence. And her online behavior, where she's trolling people that don't like her, and she's getting into fights with other influencers, and she's getting mad at people that are, taking attention away from her. because of that, people are constantly reporting her to her probation officer. And even last week or 2 weeks ago, she was reported to her probation officer. And last week, there was concern she could be revoked. And so this pregnancy is just terrible timing. She's going through a divorce. She's still on parole, and the baby's going to be born. And if she ever gets revoked, she could deliver a baby in prison, which is what nobody wants. So the ongoing threat of her being revoked because people are constantly reporting her to her probation officer. And Gypsy doesn't make it hard for them because she leaves comments with, she left a comment on somebody that she was in prison with, which is against her, which is not allowed with her parole. She can't speak with other people that are felons. She can't speak to anyone from the prison that she was in. And she has restrictions about being in communication with other people from prison. And she got reported for that. They didn't violate her, obviously, but that was a worry last week. Is she going to get revoked? So it's been very challenging for me to stick my neck out on the line and say, don't worry, you guys, it's definitely Ken's baby. Don't worry, you guys, she didn't plan this. She swears this was accidental. It was totally unexpected. She was on the pill, because that's what I was told, you guys. I was told she was on the pill, and then to find out she wasn't on the pill, and then to find out that she was trying to actively get pregnant, and then to find out that Rob tried to stop it from happening, and then to find out that Ken knew that she was trying to have a baby, and then to find out that she changed her story and told Ken she wasn't ovulating so that they didn't use protection, and then she gets pregnant and then makes a video and says, it just happened, is a lie. She's lying about how she got pregnant. She's lying about the means of getting pregnant. She's lying about when she became pregnant. I don't even know when she got pregnant, frankly. I don't. And I'm not going to say 100% for certain it's Ken until she has this baby and they have a paternity test. And I do worry about her fitness as a parent. And I can tell you that the family is worried about her fitness as a parent. And I said to them last week, she's going to put this all out there and people are going to report her to CPS for everything. And they were well aware that that was going to happen. They know that Gypsy is going to constantly get reported to CPS. They know that CPS will probably be very involved because of her crime and because people don't trust her and because of her lack of skills. It doesn't mean she's done anything to the baby, but she's already said she's not going to exploit the child, but she's going to exploit her pregnancy. And this gets me to my final point. She stated that she's not going to put her baby online. But what I'll tell you is that I was told last week she has hired a brand new PR company, and the PR company has put together a plan. The plan is that Gypsy's going to be an influencer, okay? That's her goal. She's paying this PR company a lot of money. She also hired a manager. She's paying a manager a lot of money. Ken is not working. He moved from Texas to New Orleans, and he was promised a transfer job. By the time he got there and transferred, they didn't have the open position for him anymore, so he is unemployed. And so the reason why Gypsy's going live all the time is because she can make, I don't know, $700, $800 with every live, and that helps them supplement his income. And he's not asking for money, according to them, but it's a way for them to support themselves. So she's making money via TikTok, which I don't agree with. I don't think that anyone should be donating money to her. She's already been given so many gifts and profited off of fraudulent illnesses that her mother fabricated, and Gypsy also knew she didn't have. One thing that never set right with me is that Gypsy told me she got 3 wishes, which is not allowed. I don't know how she got 3 wishes. And her last wish she got, she was actually an adult. And she knew that she wasn't sick when she got the wish. So that kind of hit me like hard. I know that she was hurt by her mom. I know she was abused by her mom, but like she also knew what her mom was doing. She knew that she was part of her mom's scheme to get free stuff, even though she says that she had no clue. She knew, at least from my conversations. Once she was an adult, she knew. That doesn't excuse Dee Dee's behavior in any capacity, because what Dee Dee did to her daughter as a child is abhorrent, and she never should have done that. But once Gypsy became an adult, her awareness was a lot more than I think what she's told people online. And she doesn't have to be honest with everyone, but she also shouldn't be pushing false stories to look good, I guess is what I'm saying. So this new PR company, their whole goal is to make Gypsy a social media influencer. And I think my final just moment where I couldn't do this anymore was because of I'd been lied to about the pregnancy. I'd been lied to about the circumstances of the pregnancy. I'd been lied to about details of the marriage, which I can do in a whole nother video. I'd been lied to so much, not just from Gypsy, but from other people. And when I saw what the plan was for the PR, at that point, I knew that there was no intention for her not to exploit this child, to not exploit this medical pregnancy. Pregnancy is a medical condition for a mother. It's managed through doctors. And all of it felt very icky to me. Gypsy's mom got attention for medical purposes. She got accolades, free gifts, and so much for getting attention, for being sick, or for whatever. Now Gypsy is going to, through her PR, get attention for being pregnant. There's an outline of showing off baby bump pictures, talking about what her pregnancy diet is. The pregnancy journey is what it's discussed. There's discussions about going on appointments and doing ultrasounds and filming the birth. Gypsy said in a live stream last night or 2 nights ago that she's not sure if she'll do another season, but she would only film the pregnancy and maybe the birth of the baby, and then that would be it. But she told me in May she wasn't going to film any of it. She didn't want any of it to be public. So I can't believe that if she films the birth and then they offer her another season, right, that she wouldn't film the child. Nothing she says today will be consistent tomorrow. And then if she goes on to exploit the child, it's no different than what her mom did. And when she put out the pregnancy announcement, put out the registry, which made me very unhappy because, again, she's asking for freebies like what her mom did, puts out an ultrasound video where she's showing off and showing everyone that she's pregnant and she hears a heartbeat, which I also thought, given her history and her backstory, was, again, inappropriate. I saw the PR schedule and I was like, they want her to believe that she's a famous influencer and that she's just a normal person that should be happy and influence people about pregnancy, and that she should be making a ton of money exploiting herself, exploiting a baby, and being an influence. And that was just my end point. Like, I have empathy for her. I have empathy for the trauma she went through, but everyone around her is giving her no guidance. And she doesn't listen to guidance. And frankly, the things that they're saying just don't match the reality. And the last thing I'll share is that before she was released from prison, I was told that one of the people that's involved in her series has basically made Gypsy feel like she's famous and she's a celebrity. And Lifetime has made her feel like she's a celebrity. They have not made her feel like she's infamous. She's not famous, you guys. She is infamous. But because she believes now that she's famous, they believe that she's famous. They believe she's too good to have a regular job where she would have to go into the world and have a regular job. I understand it's difficult to get employment as a felon, but they think she's too above that. And so they look at this as her only option for employment. And they were told by someone connected to the Lifetime series, allegedly, that they need to go get their bag because there's so much money to make and they're going to go get their bag. And they are looking at all of this as money. So how do you help someone and make good choices for someone when she's not equipped to navigate her whole life? She had no social media experience. She was raised by a psychopath. She has trauma. She is doing like outpatient therapy, but it's not intensive at all. How do you expect her to make good decisions when no one in her life is looking out for her best interests, and all of them are going for the bag? They're going for the money. All of them. They want the bag. That's why she's doing the book. That's why she's an influencer. That's why she's doing a series and thinking about doing another season. Gypsy wants the bag. Does she deserve the bag? Is the bag going to get her to the long term, like healthy? No. I've read articles from psychologists that said this is like exactly the opposite of what she should be doing. But they're so concerned that she can't do anything else. This is the only thing she can do. She's already famous, so this is what we're going to do. And that's the exact opposite of the advice I would give, because she's ruining her credibility every day with her lies. She's showing antisocial personality behaviors. She's showing levels of narcissistic behaviors. And all of that is rubbing people the wrong way. And now she's bringing a baby into it with a pregnancy that she's lying to everyone about. There's a lot more I'll share, but this is just the beginning of her lying about the pregnancy. And if you've had experiences with them, you can let me know in the comments. If you were a former influencer that also had interactions with them, you can let me know in the comments. Listen, I cared about Christy, and I believed that Christy had her best intentions, and I believed that Christy wanted the best for Gypsy, and I believed that the people around her wanted the best for her. I will say Rod does want the best for his daughter, but he is gone for 3 months at a time working, so he's not at home and can't control what happens. And Mia, the sister, is probably the only one that is actively pushing back and trying to hold Gypsy accountable. And anytime someone tries to hold her accountable, she pushes them away, cuts them off. And so everyone around her is walking on eggshells, because if she's held accountable, she will get rid of them. And that's scary to me. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Click on the bell so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.